I feel like, to be fair, I've learned more than what I would have being with someone who's also like an atheist, for example.
So let's say you're gonna date like a Muslim woman, and she asks you, to convert to Islam. Would you accept, or like what would be your reaction? Come back to the channel. My name is Arno from France, and in today's video I'm going to be asking people, British and foreigners living in the UK, if they would date someone from like another religion. If you have any question, guys, you want me to ask to British or foreigners, you can comment down below. I'm also sharing my daily life in Sheffield on my Instagram, just right here, so you can check that out. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, guys, and let's go, let's do it. So basically we are asking people if they would date someone from like another religion.
So I'm an atheist. I don't really believe in religion or any of that. But my boyfriend's actually a Christian. His dad's a vicar. He's really goes to church every week. So I definitely say yeah, I would, because I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's super interesting. Like, for example, you don't encounter any problems while dating him. There is no problems. You have to deal with it.
No, there's not really any problems really. Like, I understand his beliefs. I get why he believes that, and I try and support him. He understands why I believe what I believe. So there's no really barriers in a way.
And for example, if your boyfriend, asks you to convert to Christianism, would you accept? Would you do it, or would you like?
We'd probably have a big conversation about it. I wouldn't necessarily convert, but I'd try and make an effort to align with his beliefs more, as long as he saw my side of it. So he asked me to go to church with him sometimes, and I do that, but I'm not sure I'd fully convert.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of have. Well, I used to live in Japan, so I went out with a Japanese girl for quite a while, and she was Shinto, I guess. So, okay. And I'm not.
So what's your belief system?
Oh, that's a deep question. Yeah. I was raised as a Christian. My dad's a priest. I've moved away from that. I've experimented. I've tried a lot of different religions. Yeah. Buddhism, I tried Sufism. Okay. And I just class myself as a spiritual person. For example,
when you were dating a Japanese girl, did you encounter any problems because you had a different belief system than hers?
Well, the thing in Japan is they're not actually very religious, so maybe that's not the best example. We had cultural differences, but Shintoism is kind of a very subtle thing. It's not a moral thing, it's more like traditions. So there were no problems there, no.
Did you ever maybe date a Muslim or those kind of system belief?
I haven't. Yeah. But like I said, I experimented. I was part of a Sufi group for a few years. I went to a temple, I stayed there. The guys there were if you ever want to get married, we'll introduce you to someone. I never went for it, but...
Okay, that's interesting. So let's say you're gonna date a Muslim, woman, and she asks you, to convert to Islam. Would you accept, or what would be your reaction?
I don't know. I would be honest, and I would say I don't have a problem with what you believe, and I support so much of it. But for me, my heart isn't fully there right now, and I would see what she says. I think some people would be okay with it, some others wouldn't.
And how was your experience in Japan? Why did you come back in the UK?
It's hard to be yourself in Japan. It's hard to be a unique person. You have to fit in. They have a saying that is the nail that sticks out gets hammered down. I'm a weird guy, so it was hard for me to kind of just exist within that. I think in the UK it's celebrated for people to be themselves, and it's celebrated to have a unique fashion sense and to get really into a music genre or whatever. But in Japan, like I say, it's just you're meant to fit in. It's okay to experiment in your teenage years, but when it gets time to looking for a job, it's just got to be head down and just focus on your career. And I feel it's kind of the opposite in the UK.
Wow, okay, wow, that's super cool, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to meet you. So basically we are asking people if they would date someone from a different religion than theirs.
Sure, why not? I'm always open to new experiences. And I think religion is more about core values than it is about making differences. It's more about bringing people together than dividing them just because they have a different belief. So yeah, why not?
Have you ever dated someone from a different religion than yours?
So I'm an Orthodox. I dated an atheist, but that's not a religion. So no, not really.
For example, you were dating an atheist. Okay. Did you have any problems, with that kind of belief system, or it was all right for you?
No, not really, because I think when you have your beliefs well put together and your foundation is strong, you can accept any other opinion. It's when you go to an extreme, I think that's where you don't really understand the purpose of religion anymore. So.
And for example, let's say you are dating a Muslim girl, for example, and if she asks you to convert to Islam, how would you react?
That's delicate. I need to be in that situation in order to consider it. But I guess if I love her enough, and if I see the point of converting to Islam, I will probably take it into consideration. But at this moment, it's a very tough question.
I'm spiritual. I see religion in everything. I dated Muslims, I dated Hindu, I dated Christians, I think I dated everybody basically.
Interesting. And
Yeah.
when you were dating them, did you encounter any problems because they had like a different system belief than yours?
No, I didn't. They probably did, but I didn't.
What was the problem, for them?
When I came to England, for instance, the lifestyle in religion is quite different to what is back home in the Caribbean. We have a go get it policy, but here it's like segregated in one way.
Okay.
You don't see a lot of Hindus linking with Muslims or Christianity, things like that. But like I said, I don't have any views about it. I just all came from the church and then I'm going to the mosque now. You see, I'm just all over the place.
If you date, let's say, I don't know, like a Muslim, and that guy, he asks you like to convert to his system belief, would you be okay? Would you say yes? Or what would be your reaction?
It doesn't matter. If I have to, I will do it.
Okay.
Because once there's love, you can find love in everything.
Awesome.
So it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's what the heart says.
Well, I mean, love is love, whatever it is. I think when it comes to gender as well, whatever gender, it doesn't matter.
All right.
As long as you date someone you love and you care about.
What's your system belief at the minute?
I'm more spiritually inclined than I am religious.
If you date someone who he or she is really religious, maybe she's from like, he's Muslim, would you accept that? How would be your reaction? Would you be inclined to date him or like to date her? Like,
So my parents are actually like Muslim and I've grown up within that religion. So if someone else had like, let's say, Muslim as well, it wouldn't bother me. I think that I would get to know what makes them so interested in continuing and being super inclined in what they're doing. And then if I don't feel comfortable with it, then obviously I'm going to share my opinions,
if your partner like asks you to convert to, for example, Islam or Christianity, or how would be your reaction? You would say yes, you would say no?
I think I'd have a discussion with them. I'd definitely put it out on the table, but if it's something that I'm not willing to do and it's not something that is going to further me in what I want to do in life, then no.
If they're like really into it, probably not.
Okay.
Just because I feel like there's such a difference in like how you act, you know what I mean? Like I couldn't go to like church every Sunday because like not something I would spend my time doing. But if they're just like under the religion but they're not really into it, yeah, sure, it doesn't really matter.
For example, yourself, have you ever dated someone who had like different system belief than yours?
Yeah, and it didn't go great, so probably wouldn't again. If, for example, they were really into it, they were really Christian, so I wouldn't go really Christian again.
So what was the problem, for example? Which problem did you encounter?
Well, I drink and, do stuff that's just not allowed in that culture. Like, it just didn't go down well, it caused a lot of arguments, so it wasn't good.
And what's your system belief yourself?
Agnostic?
Like, let's say you are dating like, let's say a Muslim or Christian, and they ask you to convert, to their religion. How would you react?
I would have to like them a lot. It'd have to be a very long-term, thing, like 5 years of dating, then I'd consider it, otherwise not a chance.
Yeah, I feel like you love who you love, so I don't feel like religion really comes into that. I feel like there's more properties to love than just religion, isn't there?
Yourself, have you ever dated someone from like a different religion?
I'm not religious, but my partner is, so I guess, I'm proof of that.
Interesting. And like, what's his system belief, for example?
He's Christian.
Christian. Mm-hmm. All right. Dating him, sometimes do you encounter some problems?
I wouldn't say problems. I say we view situations differently, but it's never really comes to an issue or an argument or anything. No.
All right. So we can always figure it out, basically.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I feel to be fair, I've learned more than what I would have it being with someone who's also an atheist, for example.
If your boyfriend asks you, for example, to convert, you would say yes, or you would say no. What would be your reaction?
I mean, if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And I feel it depends on his reasoning for wanting me to convert. But like I say, I wouldn't be unhappy for my children to be a Christian. That wouldn't bother me.
Okay.
But for me personally, I just don't think it just doesn't follow what I believe in, sort of thing. So yeah, but I wouldn't be against it.
Personally, I don't really mind, but my parents are very conservative Muslims. Okay. So I don't really want to create conflict within my family, so I will probably avoid it.
So you think you will date and you will marry a Muslim guy?
Probably.
For example, if you date a Christian, do you think you might encounter some problems dating a guy which is, having like a different system belief than yours?
I do consider myself very religious and I question my religion a lot. So I'm open to different beliefs. Yeah.
All right.